Another thing that you need to be able to do with your shapes is put them in a hierarchy. That means that we can show in a nice little table in a chart what shapes fit where. Remember, for a polygon, it has to pass 3 rules. It needs to be flat or two-dimensional. It needs to be closed with no gaps. And it needs to have straight sides. If any of the sides are curved, it can't be a polygon. Inside of a polygon, we have all sorts of different shapes. We wrote down all of our different shapes with their different sides. We're going to focus specifically today on quadrilaterals. Now remember, quadrilaterals have a very special rule. Quadrilaterals have 4 sides. That's the rule. 4 sides. Quadrilaterals have 4 sides. Once we've determined that a shape is a quadrilateral, we have some options. Once it's a quadrilateral, we're either going to call it a trapezoid, or we're going to call it a parallelogram. Parallelograms have 2 sets of parallel sides, the top and the bottom, and both sides. A trapezoid only has 1 set of parallel sides, just the top and the bottom. The other 2 sides would intersect if they keep on going. Now, I do need to also tell you that there is a third option. We're not going to learn about this option, but I need you to know that it is still there. The third option is a kite. This looks just like what you think a kite looks like. A kite has no sets of parallel sides. So we have no parallel sides, 1 pair of parallel sides, and 2 pairs of parallel sides. If it's a trapezoid, we can look at it and we can figure out, what are its angles like? There's only one special type of trapezoid, and that is a right trapezoid. What type of angle do you think a right trapezoid is going to have? It's going to have a right angle. There you go, a right trapezoid. And I'm going to make sure to mark my right angle. From here on out, we're going to focus on parallelogram. So, the shape is a polygon. It has 4 sides. And now we've decided that it has 2 pairs of parallel sides. So, from here, we have 2 choices. Do you remember them? Our 2 choices are rectangle and rhombus. So, we have a rectangle and we have a rhombus. There we go. When we've figured out that it has 2 pairs of parallel sides, then we look at the length of the angles. If it has right angles, we know it's a rectangle. If it has sides that are all the same, we know it's a rhombus. Rectangles, we look at the angles. Rhombus, we look at the sides. And if that shape has everything, it has 2 pairs of parallel sides, all 4 angles are right, and all 4 sides are equal, then it is a very special shape. And this very special shape is a square. There's our square. Throughout all of this, just like on our quadrilateral chart how we could move outwards, we can always move up. Everything in this chart moves upwards. So, if I want to know all the different names I can call a square, I can look at my square and move up. Everything it's connected to is a name. So for a square, I can also call it a rectangle, a rhombus, a parallelogram, a quadrilateral, and a polygon. A rhombus. Remember, you can only go up. So a rhombus can be called a parallelogram, a quadrilateral, and a polygon. It's not connected to a rectangle, so I can't call a rhombus a rectangle. And I can't call it a square because that's down. I can only move up. If I have a right trapezoid, I can call it a trapezoid, a quadrilateral, and a polygon. That's it. Parallelograms can also be called quadrilaterals and polygons. The further down we go in this flowchart, the more specific the name. So if you're working on something and it asks you for the most specific name or the best answer, you want to be as specific as you can. If you are given a square and asked what the best name for it is, you can call it a quadrilateral. But if it's looking for the best, the most specific name, you should call it a square.